Yes.
So we started filming late for those of you watching at home. We're talking about marine mammals and carnivores. So they eat meat, and the sea otter is, there's two kinds, the sea otter and the polar bear. And we talked about the sea otter, how it doesn't have blubber, it has real thick fur, the thickest fur in the animal kingdom. They can close their nostrils, they can close their ears, two pretty cool things that would be cool if you could do, but you can't. They got real big, broad feet. This should be like moving around, there we go. Big, broad feet and webbed feet, and it helps them swim. They got a real broad, flat tail that can push them through the water really quickly, and they're really cute, and they like to hold hands.
They're so cute.
They have front paws with real thick pads so that they can eat clams and oysters and scallops and mussels and not cut their hands when they're manipulating these shells. It also helps them climb up on rocks. They have retractable claws that help them climb. Sometimes they need them, sometimes they don't, so they can retract them.
You said they're here?
Yeah, they have we have sea otters here. They're mostly in the Pacific, though. They use tools. They can use rocks to break shells. They exist together in big groups called rafts, where they find their mates and they mate. They're polygynous, which means males have many female sex partners. And I guess that catches us up. They give birth in the water. Oh, they have delayed implantation. So after they have sex, the sperm fertilizes the egg. That zygote can be implanted right away, and they'll give birth in 4 months, or it can delay implantation for up to 4 months. So they give birth in 8 months. They always give birth at the right time so that the baby comes out in the warmer waters, in the warmer parts of the year. So at one point they were hunted for their fur. Remember I said how thick their fur is? Well, if you were going to make a fur coat, just get about 10 of these things. Get their pelt, sew them all together, and you'll have this thick, nice fur coat. Well, that was done for a long time, and their population dropped by over 90% through the 1900s. And they were down, they think that they were down to about 2,000 individuals, which isn't many. I mean, we think about a stadium that can seat 80,000 people. I mean, you're not talking about a whole lot of these things left in the world. And conservation efforts made it illegal to hunt them. You get fined. And they banned any kind of disturbing of these sea otters, and they came back, and now they're back up to about 200,000 individuals, they think. It's hard to get a good count on these things, but more video footage of sea otters?
When they're first born, they actually really are not even capable of directional swimming. They're basically just little corks floating at the surface. So in the absence of mom, we really have to fill a large role for these guys.
Thanks to the pup's completely buoyant pup coats, at the very least, they don't drown. But in the wild, they can just float away. So a mother sea otter often wraps her pup in seaweed when she hunts. A mom takes her pup everywhere, carrying it on her belly, even dragging it through the open ocean with her teeth. But some otters prefer more protected habitats. 18 miles up the coast, north of Monterey, is a 7-mile-long tidal marsh and estuary called Elkhorn Slough. The calm waters and abundant food make Elkhorn Slough one of the area's most popular otter hangouts. It's also a favorite spot for otter watching. But even here, otter mothers work extremely hard to get by. This mother drags her pup out the slough against the current for 45 minutes straight. Dragging her pup right into the middle of these populated areas seems like a colossal waste of precious energy. But this clever mom has a plan. She comes here every day so she can haul her pup out onto a boat's swim step. She uses the step as a playpen to keep the pup safe while she hunts. It's a classic example of otter ingenuity. This mother otter has found a way to adapt and make the most of her close proximity to humans. And since baby otters model their mother's every move, it's possible her pup will acquire this same skill.
See,
I was so moved by that.
so cute.
That was the cutest thing I've ever seen. And when it's not, if I saw one on my boat, it'd be mine.
All right.
Too legal.
A little, maybe less cute, I don't know, but they're definitely dangerous. Polar bears. Polar bears are some of the biggest bears. You've heard of a grizzly bear. Well, these things are about the same size. 1,500 pounds as an adult. They do kill a few people every year that get too close. Normally they don't hunt people though. They're after seals or sea lions. But the male is called the boar. And males are way bigger than females. The female is the sow. You know what the scientific word is for male being much different than the female?
Gender.
Anyone? Shout it out? No? Dimorphic. Sexually dimorphic. That's a good science word for you. Can you say dimorphic?
Dimorphic.
Wait, all at the same time?
Dimorphic.
Dimorphic.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Are humans dimorphic?
Humans are slightly dimorphic, yeah, because you can tell the difference between the females and the
They're
males.
large.
If you can tell the difference between females and males, you're technically dimorphic.
You really
So
can't.
humans are. Yeah, guys are different. Guys are a
No,
little bit bigger.
nowadays you really can't.
Well, for the most part, guys are bigger and look a little different. So anyway,
Abs apple.
so how many polar bears are there? This is all there is, 20 to 25,000. Again, think of a stadium that holds 80,000 people. Maybe a fourth of that is all the polar bears left. Now that would be a crazy stadium with 20,000 polar bears. Scary. But anyway, that's about all there is. So these things, there's not a whole lot of them left. And they're endangered and getting more endangered as they're hunted. Still hunted by some legally. You can hunt. Some people can hunt these. The Eskimos almost have to do it to survive. But another problem is that the global warming is a big problem for these things. So the Earth is getting warmer. They live on the sea ice in the Arctic
So when they
Ocean.
lay on ice and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Is it like cold?
Not cold to them because they have real thick layers of blubber.
It's not as.
Yeah, thick layers of fat that is that's real thick, and it's not only thick, but it's not like your fat. It's dense. Your fat, the fat on our bodies is not very dense. It's kind of soft and jiggles, you know. Their fat is thick like tire rubber, and it's hard to damage,
Strong.
and it's very insulating, and and they can lay on the ice and they don't feel the cold from it. They do poorly where it's warm though. If it gets above 50 degrees, they'll overheat. So they have not only do they have the blubber, but they also have the thick fur. And there's real scientifically cool thing about their fur. If you shine light on it, there's white on the top, but underneath it's dark. And the dark underneath the white actually absorbs the sunlight and can keep them warm. And then the white on top of it reflects sunlight. It's kind of a neat dual purpose coat, but you can see kind of underneath that white it looks kind of dark, but the way it's combined helps them keep in as much heat from the sun as they can while still blending in to the ice. And why do they need to blend in? Because they're stalkers. They have to sneak up on something.
Like lions.
And this is sometimes how people get mauled by these things, because they sneak up on them. You can't see them if it's snow everywhere, especially, I mean, it's easy enough to see here, but often where they live, it's snowing, you can't see very well anywhere, and so these things can sneak up on them. And they need to be, the cubs can be killed by other organisms, and so to protect the cubs, they need to blend in. Look at the baby. Oh, he's running along. It's a little baby polar bear. So cute. 4 inches thick blubber. Very well developed sense of smell and sight and hearing. All of their senses are very well developed to make them good hunters. Detects seals from a mile away, buried under 3 feet of snow. They can smell them.
Watch this video where they just like jump up and down and pound the
snow to get them underneath. Yeah.
And they just break through and kill the seal.
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous.
And they're great swimmers. They have fat hands and feet that can push water along, and their blubber makes them float. So this makes them great swimmers. There was one bear that set a record for 9 continuous days of swimming.
Oh my God.
400 miles.
Wow.
And if you think about that, how could it swim for 9 days? Well, it floats. And so it just has to paddle. It's not like you trying to swim for 9 days. You'd sink.
So funny.
I don't sink. Boy.
Sink after like 100 yards.
They can sprint pretty fast. They walk pretty slow. They're lumbering. This is called lumbering the way it runs. They kind of put a lot of weight on each foot, and they look a little bit awkward running along. They can swim at 6 miles per hour, can run at 25 miles an hour. So once one's coming after you, you're not going to get away from it. 25 is a lot faster than you can run.
They're not an alligator.
Yeah, they get you even on the zigzag. And you can climb a tree. There's no trees up there, so you're really in trouble.
That's why you gotta dig. Just dig and don't stop.
They're active year-round. They do not hibernate. Most bears hibernate. You think about bears and hibernation, they don't do it. They mate in April and May. They congregate in groups. They also have delayed implantation, just like the sea otter, so that their babies are born when it's warmer, and that there's more food around. They're also polygynous. Polygynous means what again? 10 points. If you can tell me what polygynous means.
Oh, we pick it up extra
What polygynous means.
Thank you, though.
Give me a hint. I already said it this class. Polygynous.
Is that right? Yes. Go. Got it.
Thank you.
Tony. You got it.
Yes, blue is correct.
I don't.
Green is correct. Peach is correct.
Yeah.
Okay, purple is correct. Yes, white is correct. Orange?
Incorrect.
Orange is correct. One male, many females. Polygynous. What's polyandrous?
Female with many males.
One female, many males. Video footage?
Sure.
Right, chill, right?
2 cubs at a time they usually have. Babies.
Video.
Yeah.
It can vary. That can be 3 or 1.
It's March, and light returns to the high Arctic, sweeping away 4 months of darkness. A polar bear stirs. She has been right in the whole winter. Her emergence marks the beginning of spring.
I think I've watched this.
After months of confinement underground, she toboggans down the slope, perhaps to clean her fur, perhaps for sheer joy.
I know that I've heard.
Yo.
Her cubs gaze out at their bright new world for the very first time. The female calls them, but this steep slope is not the easiest place to take your first steps.
Where's me father?
But they are hungry and eager to reach their mother, who's delayed feeding them on this special day. Now she lures them with the promise of milk, the only food the cubs have known since they were born, deaf and blind beneath the snow, some 2 months ago.
Where's Peter?
Where y'all boys are, yo?
Yo, get yourself.
Come on, chill.
Their mother has not eaten for 5 months and has lost half her body weight. Now she converts the last of her fat reserves into milk for her.
Stop talking.
The spring sun brings warmth, but also a problem for the mother. It starts to melt the sea ice. That is where she hunts for the seal she needs to feed her cubs, and she must get there before the ice breaks up. For now, though, it's still minus 30 degrees, and the cubs must have the shelter of the den.
Firing.
Look how big it is under there.
It's like a small mansion.
It's really slim.
So these are graphs showing how the number of polar bears has gone down in different locations. So this is looking at the top of the globe, the Arctic. This is looking down at the North Pole here, and you see all the red is areas that are going down. I don't know if you can read this, but this is negative. Negative temperatures for good polar bear survival. So They're losing their habitat.
We have one more.
Ice is melting.
Got the thing right here.